Hey guys, I just wanted to come on and make a quick video because I just had something amazing happen to me and I had to run down. I'm at work, but I had to run down to come down here and make this video because it just couldn't wait. And it's just amazing what God does. And let me first give you kind of some dialogue here. So I'm at work and it's a normal day here, and then I'm just noticing there are a couple people walking around and everybody just seems off. And I even texted my wife and I was like, I feel like something's going on. I don't know why, everybody just seems upset. I'm thinking, what's going on? What's happening here at work? Because it's like, there's a couple people that's not affected, but there are a couple you can just tell, you can look in their eyes and just know something's wrong. Well, one of the ladies, my coworker, she walked by and I was like, are you okay? And she just said, no, not really. But I could tell like she didn't want to say what was wrong right in front of everybody. And so she went to her desk, and then I'm standing at the copier. She makes me a little sticky note and writes on it and comes back and tells me what's wrong. And she tells me that her husband of 16 years wants a divorce. And she is completely heartbroken. She has no idea what to do, what to make of it. And on her little note, she's like, I know that I watch, what you post on Facebook, and I know that you would know because of how close you are with God what I need, and like some verses and stuff. So even just that verbiage blew me away. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So I go over to her desk and start talking to her, and I mean, she pours everything out. She is, poor thing, is just bawling and bawling and, telling me everything that's going on, and, how this has been, a struggle, and they felt like they could work on it. And then she thinks that he may be cheating on her. And I mean, it is just big mess. And she's like, I feel so alone. I have no family here. I moved here all these years ago because of him. I have nobody. And she was like, I'm lost and I have nothing. And so I'm immediately sharing the gospel with her. And I'm telling her, and I was like, I know who can help you. I know, I can't relate to what you're going through, but I can relate to what you're feeling. And that feeling lost, that feeling like you have no way out of your situation and not knowing what to do. I've been there. I know what that is. So I started explaining to her, what happened to my wife and I, and, how we were first saved. And we were at the very bottom. We had no other resort. There was nothing else. We had tried and tried and tried to do everything we could to fix ourselves. And, that's when we cried out to Christ. We cried out to God to help us. And I was explaining all that to her, and I was telling her, this is what's happened. And then it hit me, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, hold on. I ran back to my desk. I got my cell phone. So the Lord's been giving my wife and I dreams just about since we've been saved. So it's been going on almost, I'd say, a year and a half now that we've been receiving dreams. So I go through my list, and it just immediately hits me. The Holy Spirit's like, look. So I go through, I look at my dreams, and October the night, so it was October 23rd is when I had this dream, and I wrote it down. And in this dream, I was here at work, and I wrote that during the dream, there were 3 coworkers, and they were all 3 crying. And one that stood out was this one particular one that I'm speaking to now. And it was like we were in the middle of the road somewhere, but it was like, it wasn't a normal day. I felt like there was, I described it as like a war. I felt like something was happening. And she was sobbing, and I was sharing the gospel with her. I was hugging her, and she accepted Christ. This was my dream. I had this dream, and of course I didn't tell her. I didn't tell her this because I don't know, if she's saved. I don't know her background and that at all. And so I immediately pull it up, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, read this. Read what God gave me. And we read the dream, and she was like, you're not going to believe this. She was like, oh my gosh. And of course she is sobbing again. And she was like, on October 22nd, the day before I had my dream, is when they had their huge fight. They had their massive fight. And she's like, from that moment on, she's like, I knew things weren't going to be the same with us. And she was like, I remember that fight. I remember that day. And she went back on her calendar and she was like, I know this day. And she even went on Facebook and saw the picture she posted. And she was like, it was this day right here. And it was the day before I had my dream. And I told her, I was like, this is God. That right there is God. Right there. That is him saying and speaking to you. This moment is supposed to happen. Everything you're going through, everything that has led you up to this is supposed to happen. And oh my gosh, it was amazing. And I prayed for her, and you know, it was a beautiful moment. I shared the gospel with her, and she wants more. She wants to know more about Christ. She wants relationship with Christ. And she said that she felt him, and you know, it's just the most amazing thing I've probably experienced thus far. And so I wanted to share it with you because at one point I did not really want to speak much. You know, we're called, as Christians, we're called to speak the gospel. We're called to share the gospel. And, you know, God's been working on me and pushing me and pushing me and pushing me, you know, to speak more, speak more. So, you know, we know the truth. We know what can save. And so just by doing that, just being encouraging, speaking the gospel, speaking about Christ, you know, that's all we try to do. That's all that fills my Facebook. That's all that my focus is on. My life has changed. And, you know, people see that. People can see the hope that we have and wonder, well, how do I get that? And that's what floored me when she first said, you know, in that note, she was like, I know to go to you because you know so much, you know, you've been posting so much about God. I know you'd be the first person to go to. Like, I mean, that just completely floored me. Me, of all people, you know, I'm a nobody. But I know what Christ can do. I know that, you know, if I know what Christ can do in their life, and I share that. And so that's why I just wanted to make this video. You guys, he speaks through dreams. He speaks through tons and tons of different ways. But be obedient and just listen and just wait for it, and be a willing vessel. That's what I figured out. Be a willing vessel, because he's got a plan for not only you, but for somebody else in your path. Speak, talk, share the gospel as much as you can, because you never know how he's going to use it to bring somebody to him. So I just wanted to put this out there with you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the love and all the comments that you give us. And it's very humbling. And God bless you all. We'll talk to you soon.